Hey guys, this is like an education video. This is more different than, what I normally do, but I kind of find it fascinating, interesting, especially for Gannists, people that really follow Gann's work and his in-depth studies and esoteric things. So I wanted to do this quick thing because I've been watching the news and FTX, we don't know what's going on with, with Sam. I don't, it's a lot of shady stuff happening in that world, that dark crypto world. But anyway, you already know the story. Sam and the bankruptcies and everything. You know, I was thinking about it while I was preparing the food for the boys and the kids. I was like, man, you know what? I know Gann would one of Gann's techniques is that he likes to get the incorporation date of when a company starts. One of the things I learned, and I haven't been applying it lately, but I should start applying it, is the he used to take the first trading day. And that's when you do it with stocks, the first day of when it trades. This is rule of like the first thing of everything in life. When you're born, your date, the time, everything's important there, and that's more astrology stuff. But he take the first trading day of the stock, and then he will go and look at the first day that the company got incorporated. So it made me wonder. FTX got founded around May of 2019. That was like 3 years ago. And they filed Chapter 11 in November. That made me think, well, this is not really a stock, so you really can't really like get the first day of trading. But I said, like, let me look at the incorporated date. So I started browsing around. I just did this morning because it was in the back of my mind while I was sleeping, like a thorn in my brain. And I was like, let me look. And I found a white paper that was released on May 5th of 2019. So I'm assuming and guessing maybe that's when it got incorporated. I could be wrong. Maybe it's another date. But at least it was in May that they say here was founded. And if we're going to guess, by dates, actually the white paper release date was the 5th. I'm going to go with that date. And if it was the 1st, it's fine. I just wanted to get some kind of time frame, not going to be like May 28th or the 26th or May 16th. So if the release date was 5th, we're going to go with that. And I went and did a natal transit chart. And I took out Pluto, I took out Neptune. I kind of kept a little bit of the traditional planets, but added Uranus there. And I just kind of saw something there. But just look at this configuration. And mind you, I'm not using houses. I have it null, so the houses won't change. I know this, significance regards to houses and stuff like that. I just kept it really simple. I just want to see what the planets are doing in regards to the basic conjunction, trine, square, and just where they're at, opposition, conjunction. And what you see here is Jupiter opposing Mars. Very interesting dynamic right off the bat on the 5th. And I used 12 because I don't know what time, they incorporated. So those are little things you can't, we're assuming we don't even know when it was incorporated in regards to date and time. So I'm going by the white paper release which was May the 5th of 2019 and 12 p.m. Where the sun is the most high. You know, little things I've read that people do when they don't really know the time, or they could just do 6 a.m. in the morning or, Greenwich time, whatever you want to do. When it's like big picture stuff like this and you're using the bigger planets, it's just all about just kind of narrowing things down. What could it cause this chain reaction that just exploded? This is one of the things that Gann, on top of all the other stuff, that he was looking at. I mean, it was like massive overload, brain overload of data on his brain and in paper. So if he was living now with computers and he knew Python, he would have just been destroying the markets. But right now, this is what we have. So I was going to go forward. Let's see if I could get this to work. This is going to take a while. So I'm going to go straight and jump into 2022. Yep. And then we're already here in May, and I'm going to jump to November. Actually, let's go. Let's go to October. And this is where it gets a little fascinating, if you ask me. We're going to go back. If you look at that Wikipedia, you can see that things started like going a little sour from like September on, around there, maybe August. I was just browsing. I wasn't really looking into like, you know, a lot of information. There's just so much going on in that FTX. But we're already into, and mind you, if you look at what the planets are doing, they've kind of circled a couple of times all these planets. So it's not like, you know, what I'm going to show you just happened for the first time and then this thing just exploded. We're going to go forward from here. Let's see. Yeah. So we're August 8th. You can see that, you know, things are just chucking along. Let's keep going. And you can see that Mars in September starts approaching conjunction of Mars, natal Mars. And we're in October. You can see that now it's an opposition of Jupiter in conjunction with Mars. So it's like a double whammy. And October 7th, I mean, it's getting potent right there. Look at that. That's like exactly on top of Mars. They became one, and they're opposing Jupiter. And if you could look at the timeline, things started getting a little weird, but not really weird. And what's interesting is that Mars, it's just kind of like hovering there. We're already into October 25th, and I think when things started really going out of hand and going nuts, and the FTX was really in November, like the first week of November. So you're ready October. You can see over here that the sun just entered here. It's opposing Uranus. You got Venus and Mercury tagging along right here. The sun just entered Scorpio. So let's see. November 1st. Mars goes retrograde. Actually, November. Let's see. October 30th, Mars goes retrograde. So now the energy is like building up right there. And all these planets are in Scorpio. All this stuff, you know, Mercury, communication, Sun, just energy into Scorpio, Venus, and you got the Sun opposing natal Sun. You have, this is November 7th. Let's go to November 6th. This is when I saw Bitcoin starting to like crumble. You got Uranus right here, very close to the Sun, natal Sun. And you got Jupiter opposing Mars, opposition of, you know, transiting Mars. It's just this energy is just building up. If you just visualize it, you're like, wow, it's like a battle's in the sky. So on the 6th, this is when things just started going nuts. And then we go to the 7th. You can see how Mars is now going back in, getting close to in conjunction again. It's like this like explosion that's like about to happen. The 7th, the 8th, and you can see right there, Mars, just crossed over Mercury on the 8th, or Mercury just passed, I mean, not Mars, Mercury just passed the sun right here. Look at that. That was the 7th. And then on the 8th, Mercury just passed the sun. And it's all, opposition here. Uranus is getting close to natal sun. Mars is about to get close to natal Mars, transiting Mars to natal Mars. And you got Jupiter. They're just blasting each other away with energy. The 9th, the 10th, look at that. The 11th, and I think it was the 11th, or it's just pretty much these couple of days right here where things just went nuts and it just collapsed. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and this is exactly right here. And now, the sun is leaving Scorpio. So it's interesting how this all, played out with Mars, opposing Jupiter, the planet of wealth and expansion. And I know there's other things that you can look at, all the rules of the esoteric, and you could probably get some insight into that. But I'm just using a very simple and, just kind of just showing you the dynamics of the energy, just using the angles and maybe some of the, the houses where the planets, the rulers are, and they're related to that. So just something for you just to kind of ponder. This is what kind of the things that Gann would, will look at on top of everything else to kind of see, into the future. Is like, what, this is not a good configuration. And in hindsight, this is all in hindsight. So this is where you could be like, oh, wow. But when you're really good at what Gann did, and he looked at all these little things, it's like a whole system. It's like you use the charts, you use the geometry, you look at the heavens for the seasons and for, where possible danger. I mean, you could have never known this stuff was going on unless you were in the inside, and you could be like, yeah, this is about to fall apart. A house of cards is going to collapse. And if you're not in the inside, you can always get some insight using this. Is this, according to the ancients, this is something that, will give you a heads up insight into, without even being on the inside, what could be playing out, or there is some danger, involved this season right here in this timing. And it's not that every time Mars went around, because if you do it from the beginning, Mars did go around and nothing happened. But what's interesting here is that Mars went around it and then just kind of hovered there. So it kind of was like an energy that was building up. Anyway, that's just my analysis, my thoughts, just me being curious and just, looking at things and connecting dots, because that's how my mind works. But if you like this, check it out. And if you have more research and more in-depth, and you're a more in-depth astrologer than I am, then you could probably, share some insights and stuff like this with other people that you've come across, that you're like, wow, yeah, but you missed this, you missed that. If you look at this, the housings and this and that, and the ruler and, all these other things that is more in-depth in regards to the astrology, you definitely be even mind blown. I'm just looking at over the surface, just look at, transit and, the planets of what was going on in this configuration, and that's just assuming that this was the date. We don't even know, May 5th. But, even just using that just kind of blew my mind looking at this. Well, I'm going to sign out, and hopefully you like this video. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on, interesting, Gann research.